G. So now we switch to the PlayStation event thing. I hope everything works. Should be like this. Let's use... We should definitely not... The chat. Oh, you're very nice. A very nice opponent. Thank you that you were here. So I would say we use this. I hope it works. Yeah, we should train again. That's true. We should play again. Stay tuned, they say. Oh, I need to activate the sound of this. And I close Soulcalibur in the background in the meantime. You should see it. I hope the game... He didn't use the Calamity Suffering though. I expected it a few times, but it did not never come out. Maybe she's not good at it. I don't know. So can you hear? Is the sound going on? It should be doing things. In the meantime, I changed to, I think, special events also. Expect a lot of trailer stuff coming just back to back. Okay, nice. You can hear everything.
This planet seems somehow different.
Forgot how this game was called.
You see things others can't.
Sense the power that flows through this land. Yet
I have notes though.
you don't fully understand it.
But whatever comes, I will be ready.
Okay, let's do this.
Returnal was the name of the game. Okay. Do you see this? Curious if they will have a small version of the PlayStation, like the Xbox One S and Xbox Series S and Xbox Series X. Maybe a PlayStation 5 Pro or something. Or a PlayStation 5 Slim.
You all know the target. Shiva's dominant. And only the dominant.
How do we even know the girl will be among us?
Our kind do not question orders, we follow them.
Oh, Final Fantasy 14. The MMO, I think.
Sergeant, let's summon their icon.
Icon? That thing's a bloody mountain.
Our foe will not relinquish their mother crystal easily. This will be a bitter fight.
You should not be out of doors. We have discussed this. Come, Joshua. Your father will be expecting us.
I am Joshua's shield. I'm sworn to protect him.
Got some Plague Tales vibes from this little cutscene there.
What do you mean you refuse? Did you not pledge your swords to our cause?
What does it matter? It was the Dalmex who drove back the Crusaders in the Battle of the Twin Realms, was it not?
Without the blessing of the Mother Crystal, we cannot defend our realm from the spread of the Blight.
Okay, the wonder I don't play MMOs or Final Fantasy 14, so I have no idea what's going on there.
Do they really mean to invade us?
Looks nice though.
It's the Archduke's son.
Phoenix.
Stop this!
Second icon of fire. But that's impossible.
Phoenix, if it was this Ifrit.
Has shaped our history. For long enough. I'll kill you. If it's the last thing I do.
Wait, it's not 14, it's 16. That is actually huge. And it's PlayStation exclusive. Wow. I did not expect this to be. Maybe my Greek my letter number reading is wrong. I actually thought this would be like an add-on for Final Fantasy 14. Looked like it. It's actually huge. Wow, did not expect Final Fantasy 16. In my mind, I was already, there was a check mark already on it. Yeah, Final Fantasy 14, probably not gonna play it, but now I'm probably somewhat interested in it. Even though I have to admit, it didn't hook me too much. I like more the sci-fi steampunk Final Fantasies than the classical fantasy ones. But I'm maybe weird in this.
It's too cold to change out here.
That looks like Spiderman.
Dang.
I think the Miles Morales thing, right?
Subway card. Check. You got the house key? Yeah, I got it. Come on! We're gonna be late! Hey! Dude, I am so filling your suit with snow. Are you still wearing your suit?
Yeah, you know, just in case.
It's gonna be fine.
Looks really good. Visually, look at this.
Favorite part of living in Harlem. Pop-up street fair, best food in the
With
city.
the reflections in the ground, really good.
Man, this would be great for the last beat I was working on. I should get back into mixing. Yeah, it's
On the ground.
What do you think about Rio Morales? You gonna vote for her?
It's still hard to think of Mom as a politician. She's been a teacher my whole life. Similar skill sets, right? Corralling people, educating them, making sure they don't throw things at each other.
Looks really impressive visually, I have to admit.
Hi, I'm Brian Porton, creative director at
Hi, Brian.
We're excited to show you this first look at gameplay from Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. Our story picks up 1 year after the events of the first game, and we find Miles' new home, Harlem, is in danger. Trouble brews while Miles' mom, Rio Morales, leads an election rally. A war between the devious energy corporation Roxxon and the Underground. A high-tech criminal army led by the Tinkerer starts to break out. In this gameplay sequence, after our PlayStation 5 hardware, the Underground attacks Roxxon, sending the rally into chaos in a fight that spills onto the Braithwaite Bridge, where the Underground tries to steal Roxxon's experimental energy source, Newform. Let's take a look.
Go, go, go!
Whoa! Let's not shoot each other, all right?
We're after
the new form. Ignore everything else. Get rid of him. Then grab as much as you can carry.
What on earth?
Keep him busy.
That bridge is coming down. I have to stop this.
He can just do this and kill those guys or knock them out that easily. Why didn't he do this in a cutscene? You just get new superpowers or something? I'm totally not in the Spider-Man or universe or in the last game.
People are trapped over there. I have to push past these guys. Where is he? Kill you. Don't let him shot you. Help! Help! No. The bus! Everybody get out! Don't worry, I got you!
Thank you.
Man! Those people! They're trapped! I've got an idea.
Okay.
I need something they can cross. No! I can stop this!
What on earth? Well. Uh-oh. No, my internet is striking. I think it should lag now. Uh-oh. What am I going to do against this? Why does it have to strike? Now, I see that my OBS is saying, oh no, you don't have the frames to do this. What can we do against this? Well, there's not much I can do, actually. Well, that is really unfortunate. Sorry for the lag. It's stabilizing a bit. No. Yeah, against the power of lag is no victory.
Both beautiful and powerful, binds together our long history. That common bond we share.
Can at least post you the
of Hogwarts.
The link.
Now it is time to add your own story to these hallowed
case
halls,
it's unwatchable.
and quite possibly shape the future of the wizarding world. Every corridor,
Okay, this is a Harry Potter game.
every portrait, every stone in this castle tells the story of witches and wizards who
Okay, it's
came
better now again.
Here you will meet lifelong friends and grow into your own magical abilities.
Is this an MMO or something?
The world's most talented professors. And while your journey begins at Hogwarts, brewing potions, taming fantastic beasts, and mastering spells.
Oh, you don't see the screen anymore.
Beyond these walls, a world filled with dangers you can't yet imagine. An ancient
I hate when stuff like this happens while streaming. It's the worst.
That strange and mysterious talent you
Let me think
possess
for a
may
moment.
be
No,
the
that's
key
not
to
good.
unlocking this dormant power.
I don't know. Why does it have to do? Why is the OBS strike right now? Why?
But what form will it take?
Okay, it should work again. Fix it.
The journey ahead.
Sometimes I don't get why this happens.
What you stand for. The choices you make now will define the legacy of Hogwarts.
TPhGames, Hogwarts Legacy. Unwritten 2021. Oh, it's an Avalanche game. Interesting.
Hi everyone, I'm Dan Vondrak, Creative Director at Raven. One of our goals as developers is to bring the game world
Raven
to life
Software
unlike
is
anything you've ever
kind of cool.
experienced, and the
They made Jedi
PlayStation
Knight,
5 is making that happen.
Jedi Outcast.
With the power of the new console, we've been able to significantly enhance the overall experience. From what you see in the world, to how it feels in your hands, to what you hear around you. In Black Ops Cold War, you will be transported to the year 1981, in the middle of one of the most dangerous times the world has ever known, the height of the Cold War. The following is a portion of the first campaign mission where you've been given the name of a high-value target linked to the Iran hostage crisis. But in true Black Ops style, nothing is as it seems. Take a look.
Kasim is out of the picture.
At least the stream seems to stabilize again, not lagging.
The team arrived in Turkey a few hours ago. They should be in position shortly.
So Ravensoft is...
Airfield's just up ahead. Let's go find this shithead.
Priority
Unpleasant.
ID Rush. Things go hot.
Yeah, Ravensoft has a pretty weird history, or I don't know what weird, but they made some great games. But usually they're more like a mercenary developer who just works on all kinds of games. Whatever pays the rent, basically.
Incoming truck. Left side.
Rush might be in the truck.
I can't make out his face yet.
I don't want
The fuck? Just iced everyone in a truck.
That's gotta be Arash. Hold fire. We need a positive ID. That's our man. Take him out.
That's definitely a spectacle. But what do you expect from this game, right? Okay. I know those little things are fast. What was that? Wow. Well, I went over the top. Well, it's Call of Duty, right? What do you expect from it?
We hope you enjoyed that sneak peek at the campaign for Black Ops Cold War. There are many more twists and turns along the way as you begin to unravel the truth, and we can't wait for you to play it soon. In addition to the story campaign, Cold War features the next generation of multiplayer online combat and an all-new awesome zombies experience. Today, I have the special honor to announce on behalf of my friends at Treyarch that the PlayStation community doesn't have to wait to play multiplayer. Starting this Friday, PlayStation players will be able to play the multiplayer alpha exclusively on PlayStation 4. And for those of you that are watching at home on your PS4, you can preload the experience starting tomorrow. We can't wait to see you online Friday and through the weekend. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah, in Germany, of course, you need PlayStation Plus for it. I think it has to do with the age verification laws that are really strict in Germany. So over the PlayStation Plus thing, they can basically confirm your payment or so, something like this.
All clear. Come on, move! Chris? What the hell? Take him away.
Resident Evil. That's Resident Evil 8. Or Village.
In life and in death, we give glory. The bell tolls for us all. They're coming again!
Good joke. Very funny.
Mia.
Quit being so paranoid.
Definitely taking inspiration from Resident Evil 4. Yeah, agree, Angmar.
Long ago, a young girl went with her mother to pick berries for her father, who was hard at work. But the forest greeted them with a dark, cold silence. The bushes empty. Yet determined to find the berries, the rascal broke free of Mother's grasp and vanished into the trees. Mother's worried cries faded fast as the girl ran on, over vine, under branch, and into the forest deep.
It has more,
It's just a local tale.
yeah, like a fairy tale vibe, a little bit. Just kind of dark. Even though the engine and how the environment looks and everything reminds me, strongly reminds of Resident Evil 7, right? But now we have 8. It's a totally different style compared to like 2, Resident Evil 2.
If it's just looking, window shop away.
Curious what there will happening. Yeah, but yeah, it looks a little bit also, or it looks very Resident Evil 4-ish. Oh, this game, the Deathloop, I think is the name. I think this game delayed again or something? Was some I heard about it.
You gotta learn how it works. Black Reef is a puzzle, and each visionary is a different piece. Here's Igor.
I am a respected scientist.
I've done so many loops, I've learned to run circles around him.
Hey, over here! I'm coming for you! Freedom! Get him! What the hell? I am trying to focus, you son of a bitch!
I've tried taking my targets out one by one more than I can remember, but there is never enough time. I go after one, another lives, because right now, half an island away, a different visionary is throwing his nightly cannibal masquerade. Alexis Dorsey.
Everybody shut up! This is my jam.
Igor is a big fan, yet somehow he never makes it to the party. Something keeps him home.
Colt, you there, buddy?
Here's the invite to the party. And here's why Igor blew it off. He made some kind of scientific breakthrough that morning.
I did it! I did it, it works!
That he makes every morning. Unless I get there first. No experiment, no breakthrough. No reason for Igor not to drink his disappointment with Alexis. Now I got a shot at killing them both at the same time. In the same loop.
Is that Colt? Hey, Wolf! It's time to hunt pig! Colt! I'm talking about you, baby! Come out, Blake! A little help here!
Eight targets on my list. Every one of them with grand plans for eternal life. To break the loop, I gotta break the rules. Clock's ticking.
And you just ran out of time. You keep forgetting, Colt. I'm not like those other idiots. Only got one name on my list. Yours.
Well, unfortunate, I guess. Looks interesting. Is it by the guys who made the what's it called? can't remember the name. What is it? You know the game, right? Dishonored Games. I think it's linked to those guys. I'm not 100% sure. Not sure if it's... Yeah, Kane Studios, right? Did they do both games? Yeah, there's one or two. Yeah, and they do Deathloop. It's a Kane Studios. Oh, that is...
Would our fates,
Pragmata, whatever the game was called. No?
would I have your life? And you mine? You a demon?
No! It's Devil May Cry. It's even better. Is this a DLC? Or is this a new game? That would be... Both would be awesome. We still have this on our list.
Rest in peace.
I assume it's a DLC because usually if you reveal a game, people usually never show gameplay that much, or like an extension for it or something. But maybe I'm wrong.
Devil May Cry.
Oh, it's a special edition. Okay, almost. Available digitally at launch for the PlayStation 5. Interesting. Oddworld Inhabitants presents. So it's the Oddworld game. It's an odd game. The first one, Abe's Odyssey, was also weird.
Did those fugitive morons burn down their own hideout?
It sounds idiotic, but that's exactly what it looks like.
Bad karma for burning down my farm.
Hi, I'm Lorne Lanning, creative director of Oddworld Soulstorm, and we're excited to bring you an all-new exclusive trailer from the game. Here, our unlikely hero, Abe, finds himself fresh off the back of freeing his people from the nefarious Rupture Farms. He thinks the journey is over, but soon discovers it has only just begun. The stakes are higher, the threats are larger, the obstacles are more devious, and it's all made possible by the power of PlayStation 5. Enjoy.
It's definitely a classic. I mean, it was, I think, on the, at least in Germany, on the, or one of the demo CDs for that came with the PlayStation 1. It's really a classic.
We are not letting that Abe guy get away from us again.
Uh-oh.
Wait here. Hey, why the hold up? I could go for a sandwich right now. We gotta get out of here. Come on, let's get out of here. My tummy's growling. I'm hungry.
Oh man. Such a crazy game. It's really dystopian and dark. I think it's even very, the original was even had, well, the developers thought about making it like some kind of criticism of society and so on. Kind of interesting.
Gregory. Your friends are worried about you.
Gregory.
They're here with me. Please come out. Gregory, I may have lost my temper earlier, but it was just a glitch. It won't happen again.
What's
It's
this
been
game?
such a difficult day for all of us. Why don't you come out and we can play a game together? It won't
Heavy
happen
breathing.
again.
There's Five Nights at Freddy's? Like something related to that?
It was just a glitch.
Looks a bit like it.
Gregory, be still. I think she's found us.
Okay, it is Five Nights at Freddy's security breach. Interesting. First I said, what is this? Just curious how long this goes. And if we will see the price for the PlayStation 5. I would expect it. But you see, they just show games. There's Demon Souls. The world might be mended. I heard this so many times. Soul of the Lost, key to life's ether is missing though. At the beginning of good old... at the beginning, but pretty early in the game. Good old Demon Souls. It looks much better than Demon Souls though. I have to admit that. That looks really good. Is this a tutorial level? Yeah, it is a tutorial level, 100%. Yeah, it is a tutorial level, so I already know how it will end. We thought about maybe playing Demon Souls on stream too. Looks a bit off though. But also very Demon Souls. Oh, this dude. Kills him really fast. Good old Forgate. And yeah, next is... I'm curious what happens next. Well, that looks good. And he's dead. He survived one hit. That's already impressive. Yeah, now he should be dead. Would have been surprised if he survives 2 hits. Oh, yeah, this the armored spider. Tower Knight. It's also relatively early. The bridge with the dragon. Fire lurker. So it's where you can get the magic enchanted Falchion. And so on. Really nice. Looks great, I have to admit. The original, when I first saw that stuff, when I first saw it, it looked a bit colorful, but now, yeah, I think they beautifully captured the style of Demon Souls. I'm not sure how it feels when I play it, but it won't be from FromSoft. Obviously makes a difference, and it looks like they overhauled the game like to 100%. Still very hyped for this game, looking forward to it. Maybe we play Dark Souls 5 first. This is Fortnite. Here the bass sound is really giving it away. Don't play Fortnite, but I tried it out like a few years ago or so. Well, of course it will be coming to PlayStation 5. Everything else would be a surprise. It would be a surprise. Surprise! The biggest surprise would be not coming to PlayStation 5. That would be actually funny, but... PlayStation Plus... What? Didn't read it fast enough. PlayStation Plus collection. Okay. Benefit for PlayStation 5. Okay, that sounds... Oh. So they're putting in some games into the PlayStation Plus. Stuff that is probably available. So far, really impressive selection. Really impressive selection.
My name is Marcus.
My name is Kara.
My name is Connor.
Oh, Battlefield 1. Infamous Second Son.
After all we've been through.
It's time.
Enjoy a selection of generating defining PS4 games. Access the entire collection. Simply download games and start playing. On your PlayStation at launch. So this is the collection that will be available at launch. I think it's part of the PlayStation Plus program. So if you have PlayStation Plus, you get all those games. Probably to counter a bit the very, very, very valuable Xbox Games Pass, which is also has an insane value in it. They're doing pretty much something similar. So basically all the old PlayStation 4 games, or not old, but even the exclusive ones, most of them it seems. Oh, Bloodborne. Yeah, it's but it's just... So there will be a port of Bloodborne on PlayStation 5. That's not too unusual because they already announced backwards compatibility. Okay, now it becomes interesting. We see the weird looking PlayStation 5. Now we're just waiting for a price. Digital edition? Okay, basically same price. November 19th, rest of the world. November 12th, US, Canada. Oh boy, I can't read that fast. Japan, Mexico,
So now you
Australia.
know. Thank you all for joining us today and for being part of this amazing journey. It's your passion as fans of gaming that drives us to deliver a truly new generation of experiences on PS5. From everyone at PlayStation, we appreciate your continued support, and we look forward to you getting your hands on PS5 very soon. To close, let me leave you with one more quick look.
I'm curious. Would I love Bloodborne sequel? Not sure. I would like if they do something new again instead of just make a sequel to Bloodborne again. I would like to see something fresh and new. Even though I really like Bloodborne. But I don't feel like what could you continue there story-wise? In my opinion, would be more of the same. Just make something, make a cool new setting. Maybe a completely new game in the this is by the way God of War. The next one. What will it be called? God of War 2 or God of War Titan or Giants something?
You must prepare yourself.
Oh, it's the... Okay. Maybe... Ragnarok? The next year we will also get a new God of War. That is impressive. That's really impressive. So Final Fantasy 16 is huge. Especially exclusive 16. Bloodborne is huge. Demon Souls is huge. I don't know. Would be weird for FromSoft. Is a charger for the controllers? It would be weird. FromSoft makes, I think, more settings that are darker than Lord of the Rings. Not like that Lord of the Rings has not dark tones in it too. I feel like it would be very, very limited with even though I feel like they were a bit inspired by it. Oh, that's Godfall. We haven't seen Godfall too much in this section. So, what do you say? Price-wise, not a surprise in my opinion. They did not announce like a smaller PlayStation version, which in my opinion is kind of huge. That the Xbox has one that is 200 euros cheaper than this. $200. We will look at the dates again in a moment. Well, I would say Ungoliant is probably a bad choice for a first boss fight, to be honest. Means one of the most powerful beings. You should not be able to defeat Ungoliant. Okay, that was it. I'm not sure if something is coming, but I have, luckily enough, this here prepared in the background. So we can actually skip through things really quick and fast. Here is the information. Now we can read it again in all. Can you see it? No. Now you can see it. Okay. Sometimes switch. It seems tab switching is not something that my OBS thing here likes. But now we can see it. So it's PlayStation 5 and the digital edition. It has no physical drive for Blu-ray, so no Blu-ray thing. Wow, that's actually interesting. I did not expect that, to be honest. This is somewhat huge. I did not expect it to be this huge, but it's somewhat huge. Look at the prices here. I didn't realize until now that the PlayStation Digital edition, the PlayStation 5 digital, can't say it, PS5 digital edition is €100 or $100 cheaper than the edition with a drive. That's actually huge. Still, the PlayStation, the Xbox Series S, if I'm, is still €100 cheaper than this one, but it's also not as probably as beefy as this device. I expected it to be much more expensive, like over $500, like $550 or something. But the version with the drive is actually 100. So the drive just makes a difference of $100. That's actually insane. In my opinion, Blu-rays shouldn't be that expensive, but maybe I'm not sure if it's like these HD or Ultra Blu-ray things that you need for the 4K resolution. The PlayStation 4 Pro doesn't have one, so maybe that's the reason why it's so expensive. I'm not sure how expensive those drives are, but that's basically it. Still, that's kind of huge. Like, it's interesting. I feel like neither Sony nor Microsoft has really an advantage on the price tag, because I think this is a huge push, in my opinion, by Sony for the actually digital-only version, where you don't buy games in stores anymore. You can't give your neighbor your game and he can play it. They probably want to push this, and this is why they probably make it this cheap. This is a really $399 is a really good price tag for this console, I have to admit. On the other side, yeah, both the Series X and the full PlayStation 5 is 500, so that works, I guess. Still, it's hard to say prior how the difference between the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S will be and turn out, I guess. But I would say it's really interesting strategy here. Very different from both sides. I just Google it really quick so I don't tell you wrong things. Yeah, $299. That's the official price tag for the Series S. That is still much cheaper though. Kind of interesting. What do you guys say? What was definitely impressive was the release date. So in the United States, it launches, and in Japan, which is of course the homeland of Sony, it launches a week earlier than the rest of the world. So basically Asia, Australia, and France, and or parts of Asia, and the United States, and Mexico, I guess, Central America, gets it a week earlier. But, well, in my opinion, that's not really a big deal. There's like a little footnote down there. In each country, subject to local import regulation, PS5 launch date in China is still under exploration and will be announced at a later date. So, interesting. So what definitely surprised me here, let's try to find this really quick, was this here. We can give you sound again, maybe a little bit less loud for a moment. I did not expect like that this would be Final Fantasy. It looked really good for Final Fantasy 14. I said, wow, that looks good for 14. But I feel like for a new mainline Final Fantasy, it did not impress me too much, I have to admit. We have a lot of cutscenes, they look great and so on. The problem is, look at the combat here that we see. Just wanna do this here again. It's a lot of dashing around and so on. I like my classic turn-based Final Fantasies a lot. Maybe it's fun, maybe not, I'm not sure. Hard to judge. But it's again Final Fantasy 15 with maybe a bit of 7 Remake in it. Seems kind of brutal there. A lot of fighting and... It's over the top and you have the big summons again. And like this... What does he say?
That's impossible. Second icon of fire. But
what is impossible though? Something with second something fire. Do you understand that? Somebody understands it, please write it in chat. Music is kind of cool. The problem is, I feel like some of the characters look somewhat so... I wouldn't call them generic. Okay, you don't understand it either. Good. Generic is the wrong word. That sounds too negative, but for a moment I thought, yeah, that could be Final Fantasy 14 totally. It doesn't look like... is it? Yeah, it is 16, right? That's a 5. 5 plus 1 is 16. I did not expect them to announce a new Final Fantasy, and then the biggest thing is it is an exclusive for it's a PlayStation console exclusive, so also available on PC is what the subnote there down says. So it won't come to the Xbox. That is just so weird. I don't fully get this, but I have to admit I thought, okay, Final Fantasy 14 friends will be really happy with like a new expansion or extension for Final Fantasy 14. Then it turns out, no, it's 16. And I have to admit, for Final Fantasy 16, I'm not that impressed. I don't know why. It looks like I've seen all the stuff here and the little pieces of story I heard like a million times already.
Bitter fight.
Question. This dude here appears in Final Fantasy 15. Are these worlds somehow related? Could this be like related to Final Fantasy 15? Like a weird prequel to it that plays long before Final Fantasy 15 or so?
This will be a bitter fight.
You should not be out of doors. We have discussed this. Come, Joshua. Your father will be expecting us.
I am Joshua's shield. I'm sworn to protect him.
Well, there's like a special boy and you need to protect him. Then there's some story about it and something goes wrong. I don't know. So far, I'm not really hooked. I did not expect them to turn back to a more fantasy fairy tale, even though that's classic Final Fantasy. Maybe a lot of people will like it, but as said while we watched it, I'm like more the steampunk and futuristic approaches to the game. That's a Morbol, I think it's called.
It was the Dalmex who drove back the Crusaders in the Battle of the Twin Realms, was it not?
Without the blessing of the Mother Crystal, we cannot defend our realm from the spread of the Blight.
So they sent in the Dragoons. Imperial Vipers. Do they really mean to invade us?
Then the stuff gets invaded there. This guy gets killed. There's definitely some brutal stuff, especially this scene here.
The legacy of the crystals.
Yeah, crystal stuff. That's never good. Final Fantasy 13 was also about crystals. Not a fan of that.
Has shaped our history. Enough.
Seems like the boy can transform into this demon thing or something.
I'll kill you. If it's the last thing I do.
Well, I don't get it. But it's a huge surprise, though. I have to admit, this is not bad. So we already saw a bit of gameplay here. It looks really Spiderman-like. Looks really good. I guess fans of the first game will enjoy this. This Hogwarts game here surprised me a lot.
Take a look.
Let's see what's going on here. Did I just...
Will define the legacy of Hogwarts.
I'm not sure what TPhGames is, but it's kind of surprised. Withered World, TPhGames, Avalanche. Avalanche, they made, for example, the Just Cause series, so kind of interesting. And they're working together with Warner Brothers. Yeah, I don't know what this is. Is this something interesting? Not sure. Doesn't look bad. I don't know if we have Harry Potter fans in the chat. Probably really hyped about this. Then we have the Call of Duty stuff. I have to admit, yeah, it's Call of Duty. Then we had the Resident Evil things here.
Come on, move! Chris? What the hell?
Chris Redfield, of course. Looks great though. Could be again a huge hit like 7 was.
Being so paranoid.
We got the story here. Don't want to spoil too much, so let's just move on. It's already late. I'm tired. 24 hours. Yeah, that's 8 targets. So they explained the Deathloop stuff a little bit more. Then we got the Devil May Cry stuff. Apes Odyssey stuff. Could be great. And then of course Demon's Souls. We saw the gameplay here. It looks really good. Visually, this game looks really impressive though. And then the Game Pass. That is actually also huge. So simply, let's go on back. Selection of generation-defining PlayStation 4 games. Interesting fact, I think The Last of Us 1 is not a PlayStation 4 game originally. The remaster is a PlayStation 4 game, but the original game came out on PlayStation 3, not 2. Let's back my claim up because it's too long ago. The Last of Us is a genre-defining PlayStation 3 game, yeah. Came out 2013, really late in the PlayStation 3 era. And 1 year later it came out on PlayStation 4 in the... I don't know what it was called there. Definitive edition, I'm not sure. Simply download and play. And it seems everything is again part of the PlayStation Plus collection. That's kind of decent, I have to say. That I assume PlayStation or Sony has to do this because the value of the Game Pass for Microsoft is just so good that they also probably need to maybe amp up their game again a little bit, at least at the start. Feel a bit pressured. And that was it, right? The next was the reveal here of the price.
So now you know.
So we have this here again. And we are back at this. So yeah, we already talked about the price tag. I think the $499, they could not get much higher than the PlayStation, than the Series X. They definitely could. I would have expected it though, because it's, even though I assume when it comes to the CPU and GPU, they're probably very similar this time. But with the advanced, with the huge amount of very, very fast memory, I expected it to be much more expensive. And then you can get this is a huge push of the digital edition that doesn't have like CDs, and you have to buy all your games online, but you can't share them anymore with your friends. Maybe they announced like a family sharing program with this. I'm not sure how this will work, or how it already works actually. So not sure what they will do with this, but you can get the PlayStation 5 if you don't care about digital only for $399, for $400 or €400. That is, for a launch console, a really, really impressive price. But of course, it pushes no, you don't get the convenience of like a Blu-ray player and the convenience of borrowing games from your friends and so on, or I don't know, out of the, probably people don't go to what is it called, video stores anymore and borrow games there. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that this seems like a really strong push for, but they still give you the option, but they make it more expensive. I feel like this here would not need to be this cheap. They could have, they just maybe taking a loss here just to push it more, because they know now that people have to buy everything on the PlayStation 5 store instead of I don't know, any shop or store in the world where they can buy the physical game. And so this means much, much more profit for Sony. Nobody else takes a cut from the games that they will sell there. I assume that is how they basically argue, okay, we can make this cheap. Maybe it would have to be, maybe take a little loss here and there, but we get the money back through this way. It's my opinion, a really, really huge thing that they do. I did not fully expect that. So I just read, okay, $499, basically the same as the Series X. But yeah, this is a really powerful move, in my opinion. A really desperate move. I did not expect that the price difference is just 100 euros or dollars. That's huge. I don't know how people will react to this. That's curious. What version would people buy? I, of course, personally prefer owning my games, and when you buy a physical copy, you can resell it, at least on the console so far, and that is huge. But with this, they say, hey, we have the same console. It just does not come with the physical drive to play Blu-rays, and it's €100 or $100 cheaper. That is, in my opinion, really, really huge. Not sure what you guys think about it, but I'm definitely surprised by that. And the biggest surprise was probably still the Final Fantasy 16 thing. So overall, they just showed no talk, just games, with gameplay in it too. So Sony got really, really good at their presentations, in my opinion. That was just on the point. People know what's going on, what is coming. Stuff looks really, really good. Compared to, for example, when Microsoft showed their first-party games on their little conference there, they had the Halo Infinite, which is now moved around again. And then, it's really, I like what Sony... Oh, I forgot one thing to mention there. At the end, we got this year, God of War. Of course, it was the original God of War for PlayStation 4 already basically said, yeah, there will be a sequel to it. And here it is. And the biggest surprise for me, or the biggest takeaway for me was, it's coming, and it's coming 2021, so it's next year. So the PlayStation 5 comes out at the end of the year, and we know there will be a God of War game, the next God of War game, next year. So this is the really, really heavy-hitting title for Sony right here. And that's kind of impressive. While Halo Infinite, even though probably a great game, left a bit of a left the audience or many people a bit unimpressed when it comes to visuals. And Halo Infinite is in development for like ages. Like it was originally planned to be a PlayStation, an Xbox One game, and now it comes for the next thing, and it's moved back again and comes also out later next year. And really curious what Microsoft has to counter when it comes just to first party titles. And there will be just more. I think when it comes to scheduling and timing the games, Sony is really, really good, especially considering that we also did we see just a year when it will come out, 2021 for the Final Fantasy thing? We are already too far, right? Let me see here what is going on. No, there's no date yet. This could be like 2 years away. I'm not sure how far they are. When did... It's actually really surprising though that this game actually comes, because they haven't finished the Final Fantasy VII Remake yet, and there must be a next remake part, which is also like a AAA big title that Square has in the making. And then they announce Final Fantasy 16 on top of that, so they basically say, yeah, we just developed both of those very big titles in parallel. And a lot of questions. A lot of question marks. Who's the director of this game? I mean, it's never probably a good idea to let a director work on multiple big titles at once. But on the other side, maybe we get the advantage of that. Some of the... Maybe a little bit of fresh wind, is this what you call it? No, it's probably weird, just a German thing, right? Fresh air, I think is what you say in English, right? A bit of a breeze of fresh air into the Final Fantasy franchise at all. I did not expect to see 16 here, really surprised by that. And more surprised I still am that it's an exclusive game for PlayStation. That is actually huge. It's like, hey, we have not only God of War, but also Final Fantasy 16. That's definitely a huge announcement. So far, we haven't seen anything of God of War, but we know how the first game looked and felt, and I think you know what you can expect from the next game a little bit. Could be really, really good. Not sure what is going on there or how it will. We will see it. Maybe it's not good, but Sony has a really good track record so far when it comes to their big titles to actually deliver very solid titles. And Microsoft had to buy so many studios to just get back to the point where they can also pump out really high quality games, and they just have to show that they really pump out high quality games so far. And I think the moving Halo Infinite around is definitely very, very unfortunate for Microsoft. Was definitely not an easy decision. But as long as the game profits from it, that's probably good. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to sound like a Sony fanboy, but wow. Like if we just go back to a launch title that the Spiderman game is, I think it's the next one, right? Yeah, this one. Now they go on this market and look at the water and the visual fidelity, the detail in this. You can't compare this to for example, Halo Infinite, where you have like a vast and huge valley that you have to portray. But in a trailer, in footage, when you have to hook people, this is far more impressive. Like all the details, they have shadows, reflections in the water, people move everywhere, you have lights, you have a cool mood in the lightning and so on. Of course, Halo is a totally different game from this, but just if you have no idea of all of this and video games and so on, I think this maybe would hook me a little bit more than the other game, or impress me a bit more when you say, yeah, that is next gen. Look at this. It looks really, really good. Like, really good.
What do you think about Rio Morales? You gonna vote for her?
It's still hard to think of Mom as a politician. She's been a teacher my whole life. Similar skill sets, right?
Kind of impressive, isn't it? But I don't, like I said, I don't want to complain too much about it. It's, though, really impressive. Definitely action-packed. He's still surprised that there is a, like, wasn't this announced that there was like a Hogwarts or Harry Potter game in the making? Still not sure if this is like what kind of game this is. Is this like an MMO or something? Would be really interesting.
Life, unlike anything you've ever experienced.
That's the Call of Duty stuff. I mean, it's Call of Duty. Oh, there was actually a little bit of information there at the end. You can play it early on PlayStation. That's interesting. Yeah, and it's coming out in the launch window. So Holiday 2020. There's no exact release date, so it could be. Maybe there is a release date. You could try find it out. Call of Duty Cold War was it called, right? Yeah, Black Ops Cold War. Oh, it's 13th of November, so I don't know why when they have an official release date, why didn't they just show it? When the PlayStation comes at November 12th of November, and this game at 13th of November, so it's pretty available on launch. Would be surprised if it would not be available.
And for those of you,
they can play it for free in the next upcoming days as the alpha of it. It's not even a beta anymore. It's alpha. This is of course absolutely nonsensical to call it an alpha because this game is out in November. So if it would be still an alpha, that would mean they are not. They would be not in the beta phase. It's really bad to be not in your beta phase of developing when you are 2 months away of releasing your game. Like this game comes out in less than 2 months. It's of course not an alpha. I don't know why you call it like this.
That are watching at home, you online multiplayer. Wait to play multiplayer. Starting this Friday, PlayStation players will be able to play the multiplayer alpha exclusively.
It's the multiplayer alpha. Multiplayer should not be an alpha at this point. Like that's a weird marketing term. It's just probably just to push. Yeah, this is really early access, which it is, but it's probably just a demo for it, and has nothing to do with it actually being like a technically an alpha. Devil May Cry, kind of cool. And of course, Demon Souls. Really impressive. So yeah, I don't know what else is to say. I'm definitely going online, not online, but going, yeah, looking at the internet, seeing what other people think about this. I'm really curious how the reception of this is. I have to say I'm not as much impressed by this Final Fantasy 16 thing here, even though I can see that people are impressed. It's just a little bit of preference, I guess. See in 5 years. I mean, it's a classic setting, but so far, I don't know. Square's a little bit lost me after the last few games. I also did not like the remake, in case people wonder. Final Fantasy VII remake. I like the original. It's one of my favorite games of all time. So I have very high expectations, but didn't like the style and the combat and so on of the other of the remake. So I'm not too hyped about this one here. But yeah, maybe it's really good. I could be wrong. Definitely, well, I guess I try it out when it comes out. But probably we are. It's not even 2021. It's maybe 22 or 23. Maybe it's still several years away from release. Not sure, but it's really impressive that it's an exclusive title for. Maybe it's timed exclusive, but I think Final Fantasy 15. I don't know why that is though. I'm really wondering what were the sales on the Xbox so bad for 13. I mean, 13 was just bad. No, 15 also released for the Xbox, but the remake did not. So 15 also released on the Xbox One. I'm curious why. Is it just a timed exclusive? That's so weird for me. There was also it's of course correct. I just read here a little bit through a thread. Somebody says, yeah, who also saw it. And somebody asks, yeah, but gameplay-wise, an MMO doesn't have this kind of game. But that's true. When I saw the gameplay, a bit of it, I thought, okay, that looks really good for an MMO. But as soon as I thought, okay, it's... it definitely looks heavily inspired by 14 in some areas. I agree on that. Well, it seems like people are really excited about the trailer and so on, but like I said, I was not. But it was definitely huge. Try to find out if there's like a note or anything like this about it being a timed exclusive, which wouldn't surprise me, but so far I could not find anything about this. Let's see if there's maybe a new thread for it or something. No, it doesn't look like it. Could check the Twitter of the Final Fantasy thing there. I'm not even sure what you're seeing right now. Stream's still running. Good. Wait, I just returned to chat here. The remake is a timed exclusive, that's true. I'm curious about 16 though, because it said just PlayStation 5 exclusive and also available on PC, but it did not say like it was it was a console timed exclusive, right? It's kind of surprising that they would let out like the Xbox Series X and let it behind. That's really unusual in my opinion. Let's find the Squaresoft Twitter. Maybe they put out some Twitter information or so. Square Enix or just... Square Enix, Legacy of Crystal has shaped our history for long enough. Final Fantasy 16, choosing Final Fantasy 16, all new title, Final Fantasy coming to PlayStation 5. So far, no information. Where could we find more information? Maybe IGN knows something, because we're probably the hugest IGN fan, but at least they are very fast when it comes to information at times. No, I'm on... Need to go to the S side.
Willkommen, klein und groß, hereinspaziert.
Can we please not just play random music when I open a site? That's usually a bad thing. It was just a trailer that played there, in case you wondered. There's basically no information, it's just the trailer, which I'm not a fan of. I hope for like something more substantial when information-wise, like a little article or something. No idea. We'll have to wait for this information to appear, but I'm still really curious that this is that the Final Fantasy 16 seems my toe hurts. Oh no! Welcome to Rolling Thunder. I assume you just tuned in a moment ago. Maybe you are watching for a little bit longer, but I hope your toe starts hurting less soon. Maybe now. But the power of my wishing is probably not sufficient. Yeah, we just looked at the... They just announced Final Fantasy 16 in the PlayStation thing, which was huge. That would be nice, thank you. No problem. But don't trust in my wishing powers. And yeah, I don't know. What do you... I'm gonna wrap it up now soon, because it's already late and I'm tired. But this is the price tag of the PlayStation 5. Maybe you haven't seen it during Thunder. $500 for the version with a physical drive. And the one without a physical drive, it's only $400. Which in my opinion is quite a huge push for the digital-only version, where you have to use the, I assume, the PlayStation shop and can't have physical copies anymore. That's really impressive price tag in my opinion. Really curious what Microsoft is doing there, but yeah, I also like having physical copies too, because you own them, you can sell them if you want again. Still, yeah, this is a huge push in this. You have both options. Yeah, I agree. At least you have the option for it to go, and maybe for, especially in these difficult times, maybe $100 cheaper can make a huge difference, right? For some people, but I don't know. It's, my opinion, really impressive that they go for this. Of course, the Series S, the Xbox Series S, is only $300, which is really, really cheap for a next-gen console. But of course, it's less powerful, not a fully 4K console, I assume. Maybe, still not sure how far the capabilities of ray tracing are going to count for the Series S, or how strong they are on it. But yeah, still, 300 is really impressive in comparison. So I feel like this time, at least around, Microsoft and Sony are really, really well placed when it comes to price. They both have different strategies, which is interesting. Maybe Sony will also announce another smaller or cheaper version of the PlayStation 5. Not sure about this, like the PlayStation 5 Slim or something. But it's really impressive, I have to say. Both last generation it was like, okay, the Xbox One is $100 more expensive than the PlayStation 4, and yeah, that was basically already GG. Especially also pushing for digital without giving the option to remove it. But yeah, PlayStation 5 portable. That would be really a big surprise, to be honest. Like trying to attack Nintendo there with a Switch would be interesting, but I don't think that they're going for this, to be honest. But who knows? Sony has a lot of capabilities. They are really doing well on the console market right now. And they have some big surprise. Like the biggest surprise still was the... Oops. Where is it? Can't see it anymore. Yeah, this year. The God of War. We don't, of course, we know that this game would be coming. But the biggest surprise about this is, I can just skip it. Ragnarök is coming 2021. So next year it will be already out, which is of course not a launch title, but it will be out next year. That's a pretty big argument for the console, in my opinion. And then we have Final Fantasy 16 coming as a console exclusive, which is also a really huge surprise. I have to say, the trailer didn't hook me at all. Oh, you could just read it there for a moment. Yeah, here it is. Final Fantasy 16. That's exclusive, so yeah. But won't go through everything again because I think Angmar heard me saying the same stuff now 4 times or so. But yeah. Really interesting show here. I can't deny that. Both Sony and Microsoft have different strategies. I feel like Sony has a little bit of an advantage because of all their already established first-party studios and pushing a lot exclusive titles for the console already. That is all. I mean, I personally don't care what console I buy. I care about what games can I play on it. And to be honest, I'm actually a PC gamer at heart, so I don't care too much about anything of this anyway. I would care a little bit about Demon's Souls, but I can just play the original on the PlayStation 3 or on an emulator, even though the online functionality isn't there anymore. But I was never huge into online Demon's Souls, to be honest. PC won the console war longer. Well, I'm not sure about that. I think Sony and Microsoft still make a ton of money there. What is an interesting detail, though, where I see Microsoft having an advantage is definitely with the xCloud thing that is also available. I think it's even inside the Game Pass Ultimate. That means that you can, for example, I don't know, play on a lot, play games from your Xbox Series X or a lot of devices. Really impressive. Of course, PlayStation has also PlayStation Now, but they didn't mention that at all in this presentation. So it seems like Sony right now doesn't care too much. They just want people to get their digital console, and nobody takes like a share away from them when they sell a copy of a game. But kind of interesting what's going on. Also, this looks really good.
What do you think about Rio Morales? You gonna vote for her?
Really good looking. Look at the reflections here. If we can go a bit back here. You see the reflections here in the water. Actually, people are reflected here.
Similar skill sets, right? Corralling people, educating them.
I think it was better at this place here. Look at this. Stuff is rendered here. This of course also in parts possible without ray tracing, but the screen is frozen. Oh no! I hate when this happens. I need to watch my thing there. You did not see the God of War. You could have told me earlier. I can show the God of War thing again. I know why that. Sometimes the screen freezes. I don't know why that is. But look here, the reflections here on the ground. It's really impressive. Looks really good. The God of War thing. Now I have to find it again. It's really is at the end. Here it is. It's not much. It's just the logo, basically, of the game. And it's God of War.
You must prepare yourself.
Yeah, and it's coming 2021, which is really impressive release date wise. Of course, it's not a huge surprise, I guess. When did the other God of War came out? Was it 2000 and God of War 2018? So it is only 3 years in development. But yeah, I guess that's enough for a big studio, right? Yeah, this Final Fantasy. Oops. Yeah, this scene looked less. This combat here looked a little bit less MMO-y. But returning back to the roots with the Final Fantasy thing here, then they also showed us what was it called? Demon Souls, of course. Here it is. Looks really good. This actual gameplay. This is the tutorial of Demon Souls. And it looks pretty much like the original game, just 10 times better. The stairs, the paths, everything is the same as in the original. It just looks like from the future. Not like a 2009 game, right? Very impressive. Man, that was a big argument. Then Resident Evil 7 we saw a bit, but Resident 8, I mean, Resident Evil 8 will be, of course, multi-platform too. And when we had the price tag, I'm not sure, you probably saw it, and the release date. Oh, I didn't click. And they also... Where is it though? I'm so bad at skipping. So here we are again. Price tag and release date. So November 12th or 12th of November and 19th of November. That is, well, pretty soon. 2 months from now. In 3 days, in 2 months. That's when it comes out. The PlayStation 5 comes out. When was the Xbox Series X coming out though? It must be around that time too, right? Release date is 10th November 2020 they come out. So I'm not sure if it's worldwide though. In this case only we here in Europe have to wait a little bit longer for it, a week or so. But yeah, kind of impressive that it's so soon. Can't imagine that a new PlayStation. I can't believe that it's already 7 years ago when the when the PlayStation 4 came out and the Xbox One. Is it 7 years? Of course, I mistyped Xbox One here. Yeah, it was released November 2013. So yeah, almost 7 years ago. Interesting. It's actually the same date for the PlayStation comes around out at almost the same day as the Xbox One came out. PlayStation, oops. When came the PlayStation 4 out? Oh, PlayStation 4 came out November 15th. It's also released later in Europe. So 15th of November and at the 29th of November 2013. It's so long ago that it came out. It's kind of impressive, isn't it? Time just really passes by quite fast. Well, I think we discussed everything in some detail. Or I tried to do this and give you a good overview of everything. I'm still, yeah, it's kind of impressive what Sony just announced. I think they didn't announce like a bazillion games, but some of them were actual surprises. Huge surprises and huge franchise, at least when it comes to me. A lot of games or franchise I potentially could like. it's really, really impressive so far. I can't put it. I can't say any more. But at Final Fantasy, we got a quick look at the story gameplay. It will be exclusive. It's so weird that it's an exclusive for PlayStation 5. Oh, it seems like the Harry Potter RPG is definitely what do I want? Sorry, I just lost track. Yeah, it was announced before. That's what I wanted to say. Wasn't sure about that. Nah. It's really good. For consumers, it's pretty good, I think. Now do the whole stream. You can just watch the VOD. I can link it to you if you want. We just pretend that I'm live. How does this work? I have to go to videos, past broadcasts. Okay, I think I found it. Can I close this? Yeah, I can. VODs are lame. You are here now. Well, I already went through the stream a little bit. Let's see Twitch VOD. I will also upload this on YouTube, probably as a separate video, because it, I assume, will get claimed. Even though I didn't hear too many. There, maybe in the Spiderman trailer part, it's probably claiming material music-wise inside it. Not sure about it. It probably won't be as bad as the Ubisoft presentation, which not only got claimed, it also said, yeah, dude, we also blocked this in several countries. Thanks. Always love it when they use licensed music, and I don't have a license for it, so I can't load up my commentary over it without muting my stream. That's, of course, not what we do. I don't care too much about it being blocked, whatever, but sometimes I think, yeah. I have this 3-hour-long video, and there's like, I don't know, 2 minutes of music in it, and then I get into trouble for that. Even though it was part of a show, which I don't have influence over that, over the selection of this stuff, or I didn't even know that it was coming. So, yeah, whatever. That's copyright stuff. Really annoying. So, yeah, what is else there to say? I'll probably stream tomorrow again. We continue with Resident Evil 2, the Claire playthrough, second run. I'm not sure if I depending on when I start and how much time I put into, we can finish it tomorrow, or probably we'll finish it the stream after that. It shouldn't be that long anymore, the game. But maybe I'm totally wrong and mess up some riddles, so we sit there for a long time because I'm too stupid to just count 1 and 1 together. But yeah, it could happen that we are done with it very soon, and then we have to think about what to play next. Probably after that we continue playing Raft a bit and make some progress there. And then at the end of the month there is Port Royal 4 coming out. Maybe I'll check this out. Not 100% sure about this, but that is so far my plan of games to play. In between we play Soulcalibur, of course. Don't worry about that. So, is there anything left to say? Other questions in chat? Also, still curious what the guys who made Shadow of War, what they are up to next. What are they working on? Really curious about that. No questions, says Angmar. Nice. I need to drink something. Shadow of the Shire. Yeah, maybe. I think in the Microsoft thing or somewhere they showed us the Gollum game by Dedelic Entertainment. It's a German company that's famous for some adventures. point-and-click adventures, and now they are leaving their genre a little bit and trying something new in the Lord of the Rings universe, which could be very interesting. I did not expect a full-fledged like 3D game with, I don't know, stealth elements from Daedalic Entertainment, but why not? Maybe it's good. We definitely will check it out. Actually, should get in contact maybe. Try to get a review copy. That would be interesting. Well, it's I think for another time. Lord of the Rings Gollum. Is there a release date? No, it comes next year though, so I don't have to worry too much about that game because it comes next year. It's good. So I have a friend and he hates hobbits. He loves the scorching of the Shire. Well, I like hobbits though. Can't be angry at those. Or at them, and so do I. Nice. Well, yeah, Monolith, I don't know what they are doing. Really curious. Maybe they do something unrelated. I'm not sure if they are owned by Warner Brothers. That would be interesting to know. Check it really quick. Is Monolith... It's a subsidiary, okay. Subsidiary. Subsidiary, I think that's how I pronounce it. Yeah, Warner Brothers Entertainment acquired them in August 2004. So they're definitely working on Warner Brothers stuff. They are not independent. So curious what they are doing. So they have a lot of access to several licenses like Lord of the Rings. I assume Batman, even though other studios usually do the Batman stuff. Maybe they do something on their own, I don't know. I have no overview what licenses Warner Brothers has right now when it comes to gaming. So we will find out. Hopefully, kind of surprised. Shadow of War came out 2003 years ago, right? Can check really quick. Yes, 2017. So they're working on a game around 3 years now, and we haven't heard a single thing. That is quite unusual, in my opinion. Well, really curious. I would say that's it for the stream. I hope this was somewhat interesting, informative. Sorry for the little lag we had in between. I don't know why my internet connection just started, I don't know, bugging out. But it worked and we went back to normal streaming performance. But yeah, well, stuff happens, right? Was not much I could do, but the problem solved itself. Happy about that. So, I wish you guys all a nice evening or a good night, a good day, a good morning, wherever you are. Like I said, I will stream most likely tomorrow again. Would be nice if you guys tune in again then. This was the PlayStation 5 event with a little bit of Soulcalibur in before. And thank you guys for watching, for all your support. Shoutouts again to BlindSun93 who just followed yesterday. And I wish you stay safe and healthy. And good night. Goodbye. See you guys next time.